heart attack. Fast fatal heart impact. Past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions. Fact, don't ask. Grab reactions. Jacked attack with every word. Then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused. Call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now. Y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do continue, let's review a few things. Now, in the last part, we had Deku and Kendo. Deku, he was mourning the loss of Kirishima and Toga. Toga got killed whenever she was injured, and whenever Kirishima, he made a mistake. Toga got ripped apart by zombies, and Kirishima, he was murdered or killed whenever Deku had to defend himself from Kirishima. He just seemed to snap. He kept onto the old way of doing things. He believed that Toga could be saved whenever she was being ripped apart in front of his own eyes, and he couldn't accept that he could leave her behind to die. Now, Deku, he hated to do it. However, he understood where Kirishima came from. He still thinks people can be saved, not left to die. Deku, he has learned that that isn't true. Sometimes you can't save them. You can't save anyone. Now, Deku, he would have thought that Kirishima would have learned that. However, apparently not. Now, with that being said, Deku, he was also able to learn, thanks to talking to Nana Shimura, not seeing her, that apparently he's talking to One for All. He's been seeing All Might as a zombie because he died infected, unlike the other users who died normally, or at least somewhat normal. Now, with that, you do at least have Kendo, who finally confided in Deku about what she's been seeing. She thought that this had something to do with the infection. However, that apparently is not the case. However, there is also another problem. The thing inside of the subway, it shot her with something. It's been tracking her maybe. It's been, in her head. That's the only explanation she does have. That's the only way she can explain it. And right now, Deku, he does want to learn more about that. However, the people at the dam are their main priority. Now then, with that being said, we do currently pick up with Deku and all the other members of the group. Everybody inside the city, they're currently in a predicament. Work together or get no water. They all need it. And right now, they've all banded together under that banner. Drinking water for their crops, for them, and to allow them to do certain things. It is their most vital resource. One of the only ones that so far has been free. And right now, they're having to pay for it, since some places don't have enough. Now then, with that being said, Deku and everybody, they are currently trying to take back the dam from the infected, and what they do is quite simple. There is military-grade hardware, Humvees with machine guns, grenades, machine guns, and other forms of Armalite rifles and pistols all over the city. And right now, they have a tank in the mansion. Along with that, there are tanks littering the streets. What they need to do is fix them up and roll right into the dam like they own the damn place. Now, that would take somewhere between 2 to 3 months to do. And while all that's going on, people do live off the water in the canals and the rivers. And while it's a, not nice thing to do, you do at least have where they live with that. And they do try to keep the water maintainable. Now, certain people, or at least everybody, they've at least cut their showers. And that basically doesn't waste any water. And right now, some of them, they're a lot more eager to get the water back on. Now, whenever they do retake the dam, things are quite easy. In fact, it was a little too easy. With the Humvees, what they did was they set them up at a very far distance, and they drew the infected in. They had the rhinos, the large zombie variant that charged the infected and make themselves a target. They had them take pot shots at it. And when that thing started to charge in a direction trying to find whoever shot it or injured it, a lot of infected started to rip them apart. Now, there were a few of the rhinos at the dam, and many of the infected, they ripped them apart, and some were even taken along with it. And then when they started to make noise using noisemakers, you do at least have where the infected were drawn right into a dinner bell. And the dinner bell, it shot them. Now, with that being said, there was whenever they did start to look around. And many people, they saw the effects of what they did. They poisoned food, water, and, well, not water, they poisoned food and equipment, along with even medicine and, weapons. They basically sabotaged many of these people's resources. And right now, a lot of people, they're watching. They walk through entire areas that used to be inhabited. They see beds. They see personal belongings. And they do even see bodies. It was quite disturbing to some people. They took parts in, assisting in these people's demises. And, they feel guilty. Now, whenever the water was turned back on, they did also at least realize a few things. These people, they have been harboring power from them. The people here, they could have turned the power back on. They could have done a lot. However, the military, they kept the power in reserve. They were using it to cycle it through the cities and other places where it was heavily needed. And right now, a lot of people are confused by that. When the dam was turned back on, and I mean completely turned on, many cities from nearby started to get that power. They started to understand something was odd. They lived for over a year without it. And now it's back on. It's causing some problems, and it's doing some good things for people. Now, what I mean for that is quite simple. There are certain areas of the city where it's just naturally loud. It's the entertainment that's around them. Now, that basically means that anywhere that did have an active radio, active television, or even just something that can make noise if given power, they were all turned back on. And those areas, they got heavily infested. Now, that was good for a few reasons, and bad for many others. Because now they can walk around freely outside the settlements with a little bit more ease. However, if they need a certain resource, it may be nearly impossible to get. Now, Deku found this quite odd. The military, he thought that they, lost control after a few months, not a year. So, if he's right, these people have been here for a while though. But from looking at some belongings and even a few things that people have written down, they've only been here for, less time? It just doesn't make sense. How is it that people came here almost a year ago? Yet, the military, they had this place for at least half a year, maybe, at best. Does that mean that eventually things just fell apart and they left? They just left them without power? They left them in the dark? No. It pissed Deku off. And there actually was when they started to get broadcast from other cities. And other cities, they were looking for more people. They wanted to know if anybody else, they're alive, if there are other places outside the city and what's going on. Now, there actually was Deku, who he tried to inform other people from other cities who he was, and even tried to explain to them what has been happening. Now, it caught a few of them off guard. They were shocked to find not only are other variants, in their cities, but there are new ones. And it does heavily depress some other people to hear. Some people, they don't know what a rhino is. Some people don't know what a deceiver is. Some people don't know what a spider is. And others, they're horrified to hear the description of a lockjaws. Something that is the size of a human, but nothing but eyes and mouth. And, large fucking teeth. Now, it does disturb a lot of people. And they thought they had the worst of it. However, yeah. There are at least another variant Deku does learn about. And from what he can understand, many people, they don't really know what to call them. The only accurate way to describe them is a piranha. Now, with that being said, Deku, him and a lot of people go back and forth. And he does learn about a few things. And he does even hear a lot about what's going on in their sectors of Japan. Now, I'll be calling Deku's sector, for simplicity, the original place, or Sector 1, or maybe even just Sector 0. Now, actually, I really like the sound of Sector 0. That just sounds really good off the tongue. Now, Sector 0, many people were surprised to understand and hear about All Might being taken down. They did not want to fuck with that zombie. They saw him on live television. And some are actually intrigued to know how he was taken down. And Deku, he explains a lot of it. Some people, they don't believe it. All Might can be shot, just, one-tapped by a normal person if he was without his quirk? Huh? Now, it just confused them. They never really thought about it. They just thought that he was just, bulky, normally. Now, there is also whenever Deku tried to ask a few things about if anybody knows about hives. And many people, they're confused. Now, Deku, he does try to explain. He believes that zombies, they do have a nest inside cities. And from what they do understand, they've been through the sewers in their city. There's nothing there. And then there is something inside the subway. There is an unknown variant down there that has been causing chaos for them. And it has not been easy for them unless, they just completely avoid the subway. Which, from what they do understand, it's been dark. And it's been fucking terrifying. So they've all done. They don't know anything about what's down there. They don't know who, what, or if there are zombies down there. Now, a lot of people, they're very skeptical. Okay, so now that the lights are back on, are they going to go down there? And Deku should inform many of them. He would rather not go down there himself, but right now he does have personal reasons. And he does believe that he does know what might be down there. And exactly if they can confirm these nests are places where zombies are either, just piling together to form, or if the nests are some place where zombies may be created, since it doesn't explain the rapid mutations that have been caused. Now, a few people are very confused, and there actually is whenever a scientist and even a doctor, they do actually get on the radio. And they do actually at least try to inform and explain a few things, and even try to understand by talking back and forth with at least a professional colleague they can actually understand what they're saying. And it goes a bit like this. The doctor, yeah, he's a lot more intrigued. They have no idea why the infection started. They don't understand how it started. And right now, from what the doctor does understand, it is cellular cell death. And it is somehow still reanimation of body. There's some form of mental degrading going on. There's some form of, strange, just desire for flesh. And there is even where the scientist, they do try to at least hypothesize a few things. From what this person does say, a nest could be quite possible. Many creatures do have nests, and there is even the analogy with a bee. There are worker bees, there are soldiers, and then there is actually the queen bee. From what Deku has been saying, it does so make sense. Since the soldier bees being the ones who protect the leader, they are a bigger, stronger variant of a bee. Now, it does intrigue them. So they're understanding all this information and they're just supposed to just deal with that. Okay. Alright, they get it. So take out the hive and you take out the infected. Is that what they're hearing? They at least stop something from happening. And right now, they're wondering how to do that. Now, Deku, he is still confused about that. And right now, a few people in their camp are actually a lot more cheerful. They have power. They have radio. They have entertainment. They have their cell phones again. And, they can shower. Yeah, that helps a lot. Now, there is actually where people, they do look out to the city. What used to be a place that they feared has turned back into the home they've seen. And right now, even Deku can appreciate the appeal to it. Since everybody there sitting around a campfire, and they're not even worried about the infected. They don't have to be. Right now, the city's back to how it used to be during the first few months. It's safer. It's home. Now, Deku does say that out loud, and a few people do go to turn to him and ask what he means. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I just, Jesus, did I say that out loud? Yeah, you did. So, are you good? Yeah, I'm just, I was thinking about something. So, what are we gonna do now? Hmm? Oh, right. I don't exactly know. Right now, we can do anything. The city's ours again. And we don't know how long that'll last. Along with that, we can also at least finally refill our gas pumps. So that's fun. Yeah. But still, we did find a lot of things on the highways. Diesel trucks, other stuff like that. Even the large 18-wheelers. Okay. And could you move any of them? No, but they were also risky. How are you going to drive one of those things around on a highway when you can't even steer it? Also, I don't drive stick. Okay. So, does anyone else here at least have something else to add? Now, Kendo would go to sit down, and she is going to hand over a ice cold beer to Deku. Telling her that she does have this to add. Deku is going to look towards her and smile, as he's going to grab onto it, asking if it tastes like shit. Well, all types of beer taste like shit. Depends on if they're tasty. This one, not really flavor. Enjoy your bread, soda? Her going to somewhat throw her beer back, as you do actually have Deku, who does going to take a sip of it, and he feels like he is just fine. It's been a long time since he felt that way. Now, you at least have where Momo, she's going to sit down. And she at least ask anyone if they have a song they want to recommend. Because they have the fucking internet. Now, a lot of people are very happy. We do actually at least have Deku. The moment everyone does start to somewhat cheer and get a little bit loud, he wants to shut them up. He actually almost jumps at it. However, he does go to quickly try to relax. And Kendo should go to at least see that. As whenever Deku, he does go to look towards her, he actually does go to somewhat bring his hand over. And Kendo is going to hold onto his hand. As he at least does go to squeeze his hand to show that it's fine. It's okay. And right now Deku does go to somewhat smile. As whenever somebody who is very drunk, they do come to walk over. And they do at least go to ask Deku if they can see what's under his eye patch. Oh. This. Yeah, come on. Dude, that's not cool. Yeah, okay, that's a bit too far, don't you think? Now, Deku is going to bring his hands, as he's going to flip them off, before just going to bring his hand up and over, pulling his eye patch up to his head, as if it was a bandana. As everybody they do go to stare at Deku. They can see his eye. It's, well, clearly milky. Or at least, it has the color faded from it. And a few people they do try to ask what happened to him. And Deku does talk about a military shithead who hit him with a gun. And they hit him pretty damn hard. And that is also how he did at least lose the arm. Now, somebody they do actually somewhat go to walk away. And they do come back with something stronger for Deku to say sorry. And Deku he doesn't at least reject the drink. As everybody, they are talking a bit more. And right now Deku, he wants to enjoy the peace. However, yeah. That's something that he doesn't really want to do. Him someone going to crack a smile. And go to mention something. You know, my birthday was last month. Was it? I think it was actually 2 months ago. What? You're serious? You didn't say anything though. Not much reason to celebrate. I mean, you know. Yeah, but come on, man. I mean, you know. Yeah. I don't know why I brought it up. I'm just I'm just surprised. Yeah. I think surprise is a good word for it. Now, Kendo just goes to throw up her drink, expressing that her birthday is pretty soon, and that right now, she is all happy for it. And right now, they're going to drink to celebrate. Now, Deku is going to follow this. And everybody, they do try to celebrate. They have a victory under their belts. Civilization, they're back, baby. I mean, come on. After all the shit they've been through, right now, enjoying the victory, it's good. They like it. And right now, a lot of things are happening. As we do currently cut over to somebody instead of a building. They do go to walk inside. Them going to set something down onto a table, being very careful with it, as the liquid inside does go to someone slosh around. And the person they do hear it. Them walking over to a fridge and going to crack it open, as they do go to bring up their hand and cover their face at the putrid smell, before going to look around it and they go to grab down at something that they do see. Them pulling out a bottle of water, and they do go to crack it open and start to drink it down. And right now they do this go to look for a few other things. There is some stuff that has gone bad in here, and right now there are some that hasn't. As the person they do go to set down their bag and then go to run into the pantry. Them at least going to look inside and see what's here and what's not. As they do go to walk back out and sit down, they do go to pull off their hoodie, as a strand of hair does go to fall. And they do go to start eating at the candy bar, or at least the protein bar they did find. As they do go to turn and look over towards the container, as they do ask if they think everything is, well, normal here. I don't exactly know. However, right now, a robotic voice does go to start. They need to stay moving, and they need to actually get things under control, because otherwise they are not going to be able to help. They got lucky with their first calculations, and they need to continue moving. They need to find a way to experiment on the infected, and actually find out if it is viable for a cure. Because the current conditions for people, they are not well. They are not good. They are not okay. Now, the person who could go to somewhat lean backwards, as Melissa does go to state to her father that, well, humanity, they have had been on a downward spiral. She does believe that they are okay. From what she can tell, they're getting power. And from the camps that they have been through in the last couple months, they have been somewhat, good. There's some form of trade going on. And they currently need to know more. Right now, the world, it's at high hell. This is the last of it. And they need to find out more. They need to understand exactly what has been happening, and if they can at least reverse some of the infected. That being what Melissa does say, her going to quickly glance at the jar that her father, he is currently in. All that's left floating in there is a brain. And even then, there's not much left to save. Her father got infected, and after an experimental cure gone wrong, he didn't really have much of his body he could save. David Shield, him, his daughter, and the best scientists left alive on Island, they tried to find ways to fix this. However, it became quickly apparent that whatever the hell was happening, they had no idea how to identify. No pathogen, no virus, no strange bacteria, and really no, calling card. It's just some sort of mass, infection. There are no signs of it that they could tell so far. And upon trying to analyze it and reverse engineer a cure from the pathogen, or whatever you even want to call it, they came up short. There were many, many trials, and many things people had to do. They tried to fix it. They tried to cure people. However, all it really did was increase a few things. And that was actually the day David, he infected himself with an experimental cure. He sped up the infection spreading throughout his body, and there wasn't really much they could save. The day David Shield had it done was the day he knew there was a lot left he couldn't do. Well, his body was melting on him. It was sloughing from his bones. He had the idea to save his brain. And Melissa, she couldn't handle it at first. However, she quickly started to get used to it. Her father can still talk. It's just everything else is out of the picture. Now, Melissa, she just go to pick up the head in the jar. And she just go put it onto her back. As soon as she does so, she does going to start walking, asking her father to call out if he does sense anything behind her, because she is going to be a little distracted. And David is trying to inform her. She should be okay. Zombies are too preoccupied. However, hopefully the variants, they are not here. Or the other strange infected aren't here. Because they are going to be a big nuisance to the survivors. And they would rather not have that blood on their hands. And Melissa, just continue to walk. Right now, she needs to find a place to sleep. And she needs to make sure it's safe enough. So she needs to find a place nice and quiet. Now then, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.